What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. Welcome to the channel where you subscribe to get daily updates on Bitcoin. I've been talking about doing some other altcoins and stuff. I will be starting that very soon. I will be putting up a poll to see which ones we're going to do. I've been reading through them. I'll be putting up a poll on Twitter, so keep an eye out for that. You can follow me on Twitter at CryptoSavvy1. Don't forget, there's a free Discord group in the description below the video. Definitely check it out. It's an awesome community, guys. Totally free, and let's get into it. All right, as always, this is not financial advice, trading advice, or investment advice. Always do your own due diligence before investing or trading in any markets. I want to remind you guys, we are doing a Kobo Vault Generation 2 hard wallet giveaway. It is an air-gapped wallet, meaning you don't have to plug it into your computer, so it never exposes itself to the internet. So it is pretty safe. Definitely check it out. I do have some links below for some different wallets down there. If you guys are interested, I do suggest you keep your cryptos off the exchanges if you're not trading them. Not your keys, not your crypto. I will be doing the drawing on Sunday. I'll pick a random comment from a random video throughout the week, and that will decide the winner. So make sure you give it a thumbs up, leave your comment down below, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Let's take a look at the headlines, get a feel for the sentiment. Riot supercharges mining ops with 8,000 more Bitmain rigs as Bitcoin price soars. Gold versus Bitcoin, generational divide persists as investors seek alternative investments. Blockchain privacy firm HOPR releases mixnet hardware node for Ethereum. Bitcoin, can Bitcoin be sued? Moreover, Tesla, Bitcoin is having a moment. Crypto exchange LGO integrates with Fireblocks to speed up trading times. Bitcoin to ignite after Labor Day, warns former Prudential CEO in surprise crypto flip. DeFi yield hunting token explodes to $11K from $32. I would not touch that. Anyways, so mixed news. We are at 80 in the fear and greed index, still at extreme greed. Dropped 2 points from yesterday. And something I want to talk about, and definitely stick around to the end of the video too, because I want you to look at a long-term chart that I'm looking at that could be kind of scary to some, but overall it would be bullish. So definitely stick around to the end. After we go zoom into the smaller time frames, we are going to look at a big macro view. But as of right now, this is what I want to look at. Last year, Litecoin's halving cycle, its hype cycle, obviously we know what happened. Everybody got super bullish on Litecoin. It was going to the moon, and then we retraced all the way back down. It did raise 575% right in that area from the bottom over here. So keep that in mind. That was a halving cycle. Now Ethereum does not have, so they have to come up with some kind of hype cycle all the time. If you guys remember, CryptoKitties was a hype cycle, dApps hype cycle, ICOs hype cycle, and now it's DeFi. I believe just another hype cycle, just another reason to try to get people to buy and hold because of DeFi. That's just my opinion. Make up your own mind. But as you can see, this is the Ethereum's hype cycle. Looks like it's over. It raised 476%. Could it go up higher? Yes, it's still possible. We looked at a possibility of the $600 range. I don't think it'll see that. But like I said, if you look back, you know, Litecoin had its halving cycle last year. Ethereum's having its this year. I do not think this is the massive bull run. I could definitely be wrong. We're going to take a look at both cases. But let's take a look at the monthly here. The big bullish case scenario would be looking at this as a triangle with a measured move of 27,000. Definitely a possibility. I'm not convinced. But if you look here, we are getting support on this trend line I drew off of these prior wicks over here. And that is about $11,300 range. If the monthly closes below that, it could get pretty ugly for Bitcoin. As you can see, we are making higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the RSI, that is bearish divergence. In the monthly, takes time to play out. Also, another thing I want to point out, we have done nothing but make lower highs so far unless we are able to break this 14,000. So the 3-year macro, lower highs, guys. Let's take a look at the measured move here, that 27,000 up there. And we also were looking at this as a possible falling broadening wedge. And the measured move of that was right around the $16,000 range. And that's just taking the measured move of the widest point of the falling wedge, bringing it up to where it broke out. That gives us the possibility of 16,000. As you guys know, I've been super bearish. I've been putting up with a lot of crap from the bulls, which, you know, if it wasn't for bulls and bears, there would be no market. So nobody knows exactly what's going to happen, but I'm showing you what I'm seeing in the charts, and I hope it does help you out to even keel with all the hyper bullish, crazy scenarios that people come up with. Although there is things pointing bullish, obviously, you know, we are above all the EMAs here in the weekly. But one other thing I want to look at in the weekly here, we've been talking about it. One more possible jump up, maybe this week, possibly into next week, is possible to come up and retest the top of this trend line. And I do believe we will come back down to the bottom here. I know a lot of people are talking about, you know, the RSI is over 60. That's bullish. It depends on how you look at it, guys. I don't read the RSI like that. What I see here is a triangle forming. Now, like I've said before, a weekly close above this trend line, then I'm bullish. Truly bullish, but I just don't think that's going to happen. All right. Now, if you guys are interested in trading, trading has changed my life. I was able to quit a 6-figure job and just go full-time trading and doing this YouTube channel. Anybody can do it. All you got to do is invest some time and really concentrate. Make some rules, stay strict, practice. Don't put in more than you're willing to lose while you're learning. But you can use Prime XBT. It is by far the best exchange in my opinion. I've used them all. That's why you don't see the other links down below. This is the only one I trust. And of course, they don't pay as well to the YouTubers that promote them. That's why a lot of YouTubers don't. They'd rather promote the scammy ones that liquidate people, trade against their customers. Then they get a lot more commission. That is why. So if you are interested, you can use my links down below. I will leave a tutorial up top. You can use promo code SAVVY50, get you 50% on top of your deposit, up to 1 Bitcoin as a bonus. And you can get SAVVY25, will get you 25% off your fees. You can trade Bitcoin, EOS, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, Forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, Dow, everything with just using your Bitcoin. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. All right, let's look at the daily chart here. So, of course, people were looking at this as a inverse head and shoulders here. I had been saying I really don't trust it. We'll see what happens. If we do get down to this 10.5 and get a nice bounce, that could be it, and we could continue up. I mean, it's definitely possible, but I'm going to show you the more bearish cases. If we look at this as a rising broadening wedge here and we take a measured move, depending on where we break down, if we do break down from here, could get us all the way down to around the $3,600 level. We do have a CME gap down here, and I think it's at 35.70. I'm not saying it has to close, but guys, you got to be aware of stuff like that because it could definitely go down here and close that. Let's zoom in and look at the EMAs here real quick. We are sitting right on top of the 8 EMA right now, which is at about 11.8. A break of that, and the 13 EMA lies around the 11.770, and the 21 EMA is right around the 11.5, and then we have the 55 EMA all the way down here around 10,700. Let's look at the RSI. All right, so if we look at the RSI here, let me zoom in a little bit. So if we look at this, we could be forming a rising wedge in the RSI. Most likely come back down to test this. If that breaks, we continue down. That could be a pretty big capitulation, but let's take a look at it and just get a feel for where it's at. If we did come down and retest this, most likely that's going to be around that 10,700 to 10,500. If we break that, guys, we could be looking at these lower lows. Now let me take a look at some trend lines here where we could land. I will make this a little bit smaller. We'll use yellow. So the first support we'd be looking at be around 10.6 to 10.5, and then obviously we have the 200 EMA about 9,400, and then if we came all the way down into this area, could be the 82 to 80, right around the $8,200 range, and that would just be retesting this white dotted trend line here. And of course, if that was to break, we could go much further down. Let's take a look at my wife's webpage, anchorimage.com. If you haven't checked it out already, there's a link down below along with the other affiliate links. All the affiliate links that I have below are actually things I use and trust, so I don't just put a bunch of crap there. Definitely check it out. But this is my wife's webpage, anchorimage.com. She makes awesome crypto gear. Tons of different stuff in here. Check it out. You can put anything you want, not just what you see. Just hit her up in the contact if you have any ideas that you want on any of this stuff. All right, so let's take another look at the daily here. Same thing, looking at this as a rising wedge. Most likely going to come down and test this. Now, the capitulation from here could get us all the way back down to this trend line at the bottom here. As you can see, that would be a huge capitulation. That could possibly get us way down to that $3,500 range. It's definitely a possibility. But let's also take a look right here around that $9,400 to $9,500 range, and let me put a price label in there, and that would be looking at this trend line here off of the bottom of this triangle, which we had a measured move of that up to the 12,170 range. We did peak above that a little bit. Now, how I talked about in the weekly that we could have one more leg up to retest that. That could get us up to around the 12.8 to 12.9 range if that was to happen. We'll take a look here in a second in the smaller time frames and see what to look for. But this 9,500 could also get our RSI all the way back down to here. But keep an eye on that, how the RSI reacts here, because if this does break, then we would be looking for those lower lows that we've been talking about. Same thing in here. Now let's look at it a different way. Look at this as a rising wedge here. Even if we did still come up and test the 12.8 to 12.9 and come back down and break down here, depending on where it would break down, we could be looking around the $6,000 range here. Guys, you got to look at the bearish case scenario along with the bullish. You know, if this trend line breaks here, this is a rising broadening wedge we've been watching. We broke down from it back in March. If we do break above this trend line, I do believe that would be breaking that weekly RSI above the trend line that I showed you in the beginning, which would get me bullish, extremely bullish, to be quite honest. But keep in mind, we can definitely break down from this and come down to these lower levels. Let's take a look at the RSI here. Same thing. We could break down. If we do break down past this, we've been talking about this in the 4 hour for quite some time. We would be coming back down to this trend line in the price action. That would probably be around the 10.5. And if the white trend line broke, we come back down to the blue. That could be, you know, a major capitulation. So watch out for that. Let's take a look at if this is the top here. We're going to take a Fibonacci retracement from the swing high to the swing low and look at where our retracements could take us. And I will put labels on them. The first one being the 0.236, and look at that. That's right around the 10.5. Most likely would get a bounce there, maybe come up to retest the bottom of this rising wedge here around, you know, 11.4 to 11.5, and then continue down. And if that does happen, our next line of support would be, I'm going to make these white so we know they are Fibonacci retracements. Do this one too. So yeah, the next line of support would be around the 9,200. And after that, if we came up retested the 10.5 and came back down again, we'd be looking around the 81.50 to 82 would be the 0.5 fib. And then after that, we have the golden retracement, golden pocket zone around 71.79. If that was not to hold, 0.786 at 56.80. And then, of course, if that was to break, we could be looking at that $3,570 range where there is a gap. There's also a gap around the 7,600 where you see this red line, and a gap at the 9,600 up in this range. We'll throw a red line up there also. Right around there is where the other gap is in the CME futures chart. So keep that in mind, guys. All right, let's move on. So we talked about this the other day. If you watched the video, I'd said a lot of times we'll break out, have a fake out, and continue down from there, which does look like what is going on. Yesterday's video, I had put a target about 11,550, and we got to 11,600 before our bounce. Now we're going to move this over again. This trend line is going to be key. If we break this 11,600 range, guys, we're most likely headed down to around the $10,000 range. And that would obviously be breaking the 10.5, but that's just a measured move here. And this could be moved too. You could do something like this, and we get our next move up to that 12.8, 12.9 stuff. We'll keep a close eye on that. I will be posting in the Discord. If you guys haven't joined the Discord yet, I suggest you do. I also do giveaways in there. We have contests, sometimes guessing what the daily close is going to be. It's usually $10 or $15 worth of Bitcoin, but it's still fun nevertheless. Let's take a look at another possibility here. We could look at this here, take a measured move from over here, the whole length from the breakout down here to the top here, if we have topped out, and a break of that trend line down here at around 11.6 could also get us all the way down to about the $8,400 range. I know a lot of people think this is unlikely, but it's very possible, guys. You got to keep that in mind. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. Like I said, I showed you the bullish case, but I'm really digging into the bearish case here just to show you guys. And let's take a look at what's going on here. What does this look like to you if we draw a trend line off of these? Looks like a rising wedge. Let's take some measured moves and see where those could get us. And this is in the 1 hour, guys. Let's look at the 1 hour RSI real quick. We did just get a bounce down here off the bottom. If we get another swing low here before continuing up, where could that take us? Let's take some measured moves. All right, if we measure the widest point of the wedge here, I hope you guys can see that. Let me zoom in a little bit, make sure. That out of there. So if we take the widest point of the wedge here, bring it, say we break down in here somewhere, that'll get us down to about the 11,660. Let's put a target in there. We'll put this would be the first area to watch, but then let me show you what else we need to be watching there. And that would be looking at this whole thing from the breakout up here all the way down to the bottom. Use that as the flagpole, and look at this as a bear flag. Where would that get us? That would get us to break down past the 11,660 range. And let's go ahead and put a target down here. And then we're going to take a look at the long-term macro chart that I had said some people may not like. And there's no guarantees it's going to happen, but you need to take a look at it and be open-minded, because this market can be extremely crazy. But that would get us down to around the $11,400 range if this was a flagpole, and this being a bear flag. Then we could also take some trend lines off the top here. Let's go off of these wicks and put another one right here. This could be a falling broadening wedge, which could be bullish. And that would be, we could come up here, tag this, come back down, tag the bottom of this line, and get another push up. Like I said, I do believe by looking at the weekly RSI, we could have a push up as high as 12.8, 12.9, somewhere in that area. So keep that in mind also. And let's take a look at that long-term chart I was talking about. So this is it, and let me try to explain it the best I can for you guys. Don't forget to smash those likes, leave your comments down below, guys, and share the video if you would. It really helps support the channel and helps the channel grow, since YouTube's algorithm doesn't really help Bitcoin channels out very much. So we're going to look at the all-time high way back here in 11, and it took us 623 days to break that high here, and then we made our new high, of course. But it took from the swing high to the swing low here, took 161 days. Over here, swing high to swing low took 413 days. That's a little over 100. It's about 120%, somewhere in there. But then it took us 623 days to break the high. Over here, it took us 1,232 days to break the high, which is about 90, right around 98%, 97%, somewhere in there. And we broke this high, which was made in December of 13. We broke it in April of 17. So that took quite some time. That was like 4 years before we broke the high. And like I said, it was 1,232 days. If we did that again, as you can see, each cycle is taking longer. Could it be possible that we don't break the all-time high until 2024? It's definitely a possibility, guys. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Just saying, the more ways you look at this chart, the better off you're going to be. Look at the bullish case. Look at the bearish case. Really try to figure out what's going on here. But as you can see, it took 161 days from swing high to swing low on this market, or on this cycle. On this cycle, from swing high to swing low is 413 days. So that would leave us maybe around 990 to 1,000 days for this cycle to bottom. And if that's the case, that would be sometime next month. Again, not saying this has to happen, but definitely interesting. Check it out. And yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to smash the like, leave your comment, subscribe to the channel by clicking the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. Share the video. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys rock, and I'm out.